Hey, what's going on? I'll get straight to it. So, let me ask you a question. As the owner of your plumbing company, what is the most high paying thing you do? I'll ask one more time. As the owner of your plumbing company, what is the most high paying thing you do? I want you to think about that for a second. Oh, by the way, my name is Chris Gray. I co-own a marketing and consulting company for plumbers. We've helped a lot of plumbers make a lot of money. And my goal for these videos is to help the guy or girl who has 1 to 3 trucks and wants to grow their business. So anyways, let me give you a quick story. I'm helping a guy right now who has 2 trucks and wants to go to 6. And he was asking me, hey, what do I need to do to grow my business? And I know I've been working with him long enough now to know about him and then know about what his business needs. And he wanted me to give him the tactics and tips on what his business needed in order to grow. But I knew that by doing that, by giving him those tactics and tips and marketing advice and all that stuff, that I was doing him a disservice, because by knowing him, I knew that he had a core issue that he needed to resolve first in order to take care of everything else. I could give him all the tactics and the tips in the world, and they were good. But if he didn't resolve this core issue, those tactics and tips and strategies would not work. So I asked him, I said, hey man, as the owner of your plumbing company, what is the most high paying thing you do? And he thought about it for a second. His face was puzzled. And then he gave me some answers. And they were good answers, but they weren't the root issue. I told him what I'm about to tell you. I've worked with a lot of plumbing companies, a lot of plumbing owners. I see the difference between the real successful ones and the ones who aren't so successful. The real successful ones, they focus. That's the number one thing. They focus, and they focus on the right things. As simple as that sounds, it's not easy. But that was a whole other video, which I've already done. But they focus, and then the most important high-paying thing they do is they think. And that might sound simple to you, but that's not easy. And it's not easy, and I'll tell you why. Because I've seen the guys who make a lot of money, they know how to think. They know how to think about their business. The ones who don't, do not. And that seems like a broad term, but I'm about to break it down for you and make it really easy. Thinking is important. The next most important thing is the quality of your thinking. Here's an example. I've been around a couple plumbing owners right when the crap hit the fan, whether we got on a Zoom meeting and something bad happened, or we were on a Zoom meeting because something bad happened. And I've been on that call with a few plumbers. So I'll give you the bad example first, right? I'm on a call with a plumber and something bad's going on. And I'm watching this plumber and they are flustered. I mean, things hit the fan and you can just see it on them. They are emotional. They're flustered. Sometimes they're red. You can just tell that they're emotional. If they're flustered and they're emotional about things and all worried and stuff, then what do you think is happening with their staff, right? The staff is a reflection of the leader. So the leader is all worried and flustered and all that. The staff is going to be that way. It's not going to help solve the problem. Now, contrast that with the effective plumbing owner. I've seen another owner, multi-million guy, crap hit the fan. It was really, really bad. When I looked at them, stone face. You couldn't even tell. It's a very stoic, calm, even. Now, things are bad. Don't get me wrong. But their reaction to it initially is calm and even. And why do you think that is? This is backed by science. I won't go down the rabbit hole. But the person who gets emotional during big decisions, when things are hitting the fan and they are reacting poorly and they're purely emotional and they're reactive and it's a bunch of anxiety, your brain cannot think. When you get in that state, it cannot think, and what it does is it reacts on your emotions. I mean, you think about this: the last time you got in a big fight, or anytime you got in a big fight and you said something that you probably shouldn't have, well, you weren't thinking. I'm sure if you went and apologized to that person, you might say, hey, I wasn't thinking, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. You really weren't thinking. When you get in that state, you start to react to your emotions. When you react to your emotions, it's never good. You say and you do things that are not in the benefit of you, the people around you, and definitely not your business. When you're in a state of calm, this is the best place that you can operate from to make decisions. All this is backed by science. I'm not just making this up. And so the guys the plumbing owners who've been really successful, the ones I've seen, they've cultivated the ability to remain calm amongst the chaos. Crap hits the fan, and whatever training they've done to themselves, they made it a point to just be calm, right? Calm face, breathe, think about it, and then make a decision. I'm not sure if you ever heard of a guy named Jocko Willink, Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL commander, one of the great Navy SEAL commanders that they've had. And one thing that stuck with me, a story he tells is, he had an elite Navy SEAL team. If they sent his team in to get a bad guy, this guy was really bad. It wasn't some low level person or whatever. So if he was involved, it was going on. And when they would get out there and they would get in a mix up, meaning a big shootout, one of the things he did prior to all that was he would train his guys on how to talk on a radio. And this is literally the worst situation. Bullets are flying. People can be dying around you or whatever. If you get on the radio and you're like, oh my God, blah, 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 that's not going to help the situation at all. It's not going to help him as a commander make any decisions to fix the situation. So what he would do is he would train his guys. He'd put them under extreme chaos. But when they got on the radio, what did they do? They talked just as calm as I'm talking to you right now. And they were very clear about the direction and what was happening. And although bullets are flying and it is absolute chaos, the worst situation you can think of, these guys are talking the way I'm talking to you right now. Because why? Why do you do that? Because you need to be in a state of calm to make your best decisions. So now from what I've read, the things I read about from these highly successful people is they're able to think, and then the quality of their thinking is really good. So the quality of thinking means the quality being they're able to remain calm and think at the best version of themselves. So I've read books about that. The science backs it up. I've seen it in real life with, the successful plumber versus the plumber who ends up not being so successful. It's a common thread. All of them, they think clearly, and they've trained themselves to find ways to think clearly. And for me, that's meditation or whatever. That's what I do. But you do whatever you need to do to find a way to make sure that you're thinking clearly when the crap hits the fan. Here's one of the books that I've read actually that backs this thing up is called Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. That's probably not the exact title of it, but if you looked up Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, the book would probably come up. And it's a very long book. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to read it. It's very long. Here's the premise of the book. There's fast thinking. So fast thinking is when you are looking to park your car, or you're trying to eat something for lunch real quick, or grab a quick, something for dinner or whatever. It's just like quick thoughts that don't really have huge consequences. Then there's slow thinking. That's when you're taking time to think about things that have big consequences, like, buying a house, buying a car, marriage. These things can have some ramifications if you don't think about them correctly. So here's the thing that I took from that book, and I found it also played out and when I was watching the successful plumber versus the not so successful plumber. So when you're trying to improve the quality of your thinking, one, you obviously need to make sure that you're in a calm state, and that takes practice. To think calmly when you're feeling really emotional, that takes practice. Also, the successful plumbers were able to focus on the consequences when they were looking at their thinking. So that book I was telling you about, what it would talk about is the people who would fail would use fast thinking when there should be, when they would use fast thinking for situations that had high consequences. And then they would use slow thinking for situations that had low consequences. And that's backwards. Okay, so they would think fast on hiring something or hiring people or making a loan or some kind of business decision that would have a huge impact. They would make a decision really fast on that. Then there's a business decision that has a low impact or low consequences, like the logo or the polo shirts, how they should be designed and things like that. And they would take forever to figure that out. They put so much time and thought into the logo and the polo shirts, but make these quick decisions about their business. What do you think happened? Well, again, like I was telling you, this is why that type of person is not a successful plumber, because they have the priorities mixed up. You need to make sure and be very cognizant and intentional about using slow thinking for high consequences. If there's a decision that needs to be made and you can recognize that if this decision goes wrong, this, that, and the other can happen and it's significant, that tells you in that situation, you need slow thinking. You need to be in a calm state and take as much time as you need to make the right decision for that. And now if there's something that has low consequences, like, hey, we need a logo or we need polo shirts or whatever, what's the color of our polo shirts? Okay, man, that's fine. That's low consequence, right? That's okay. That's not gonna, if you have a green polo shirt versus a blue polo shirt. It's not going to really move the needle when it comes to your business. And you can think fast on that. And what I'm giving you right now is real simple, but people don't do it. You'll see it. If you just take time to watch people around you, you'll see what I'm talking about. For the ones who make bad decisions are making a quick decision on something that has high consequences. I mean, look at that principle. Take it out to marriage, right? If you go out, if somebody went out to a bar and they meet a guy or girl and they cheat on their, and they get caught up in the mix and cheat on their husband or wives, that was fast thinking because they were, emotional or feeling, what, and then they made a decision that impacts something that has high consequences. This happens every day. And so you take that principle, it happens in business, it happens in our personal lives. When there is a situation that can have high consequences, that should be your red flag to, okay, I need to pull out right now, back away from the situation, and take my time to think about this and do it from a calm state. All right. Versus big decision that needs to be made, and now you start, just reacting to it, making an emotional decision. All of a sudden, now your business is ruined. I'm giving you something that is not only backed by science, that I've seen with actual plumbing owners. The ones who are successful, whether they know it or not, they use slow thinking on situations that have high consequences, and they make sure that they make that decision and that thinking from a calm state. This is how you get better at thinking. Recognize the consequences, make sure you're calm. And that's it. And that's simple but not easy, and it takes practice. But as you get better at that, then your business grows, because your business will only grow to the level that you do. So it's up to you to work on yourself and what's happening internally to then grow your business. So anyways, I hope that helps. Like I said earlier, I make these videos for the guys that have 1 to 3 trucks. A lot of those guys, they're plumbers who end up opening a plumbing business. And when you do that, you're not going to be successful. If you're a plumber opening a plumbing business, you change your mindset. You are now an entrepreneur with a plumbing business. You're now a marketer with a plumbing business. And the guys who think like that, the girls who think like that, are the ones that make money. Anyways, I hope this helps. And if it does, watch the next video. See ya. Bye.